Hey guys, how you doing? Michael Fleischner here with the Freelancer Profit System. And today I'm talking about our least favorite subject, taxes. Now, how freelancers pay taxes is not only important, but it's different than what you typically do when you're working in a 9 to 5 job. And that's why I wanted to carve out a little time in this video to talk about how freelancers pay taxes and how you can make sure that you're always putting enough money aside for that tax burden. Now, let's just start with how you typically pay taxes. If you're working a 9 to 5 job, a regular job, a part time job, that employer will pull taxes out of your pay. And you'll see that on your pay stub when you do get paid, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly, monthly, whatever the case might be. So oftentimes you don't even have to worry about taxes because when you fill out your forms in the beginning of the year, your W-9, you say how many deductions you want, and based on those deductions, they take a certain amount, and that's supposed to cover your taxes. Now, keep in mind that you pay taxes both to the federal government and your state. So there are two tax burdens that we need to think about. Now, as a freelancer, your revenue or your work is taxed differently, whether you're working full time or not. And some people get confused because they're saying, well, if I work full time, are you saying that gets taxed one way and the freelance revenue gets taxed another way? And the answer is absolutely. So it's important to keep the two separate. So let's just say, for example, you are working 40 hours a week and you make $50,000 a year. You have certain taxes that you're paying against that $50,000. Now, as a freelancer, let's say you're earning $500 a month, and maybe you're blogging for someone or you're doing paid search management or managing social media. It doesn't really matter what the work is. What matters is the revenue that you're generating from that freelance business. Now, at the time of this video, freelance work is getting taxed at 20%. That's a flat rate. So if we say it's $500 a month, 20% of $500 is $100. So the best practice and what my recommendation is would be for you to set up two accounts. One is your checking account, so you can put that money somewhere. And the second is a savings account or some other account, even if it's a second checking account, where when you get paid, you can immediately take 20% of that money, $100 in this example, and move it into that other account. And you're going to do that every time that you get paid for freelance work. And the reason you're going to do that is that money will accumulate. And then whether you pay taxes quarterly or annually, you will have the money you need to pay taxes. Now, I am not a tax advisor, so please seek a tax professional for advice. But my recommendation there is definitely get an accountant, and they can give you some guidance as it relates to paying taxes on your freelance business. The other thing to keep in mind, if you are self-employed, there will be additional taxes you need to consider, like Social Security tax. When you're working for another corporation, they're covering half of your Social Security tax, about 7.5%, and you'd be liable for the other 7.5%. But when you work for yourself, you're paying 15% Social Security tax up to a certain amount of money. So again, a tax professional can help you with that, but I'm just talking about your freelance work and the tax burden associated with freelancing. So again, figure on 20%, take it off the top immediately when you get paid. And as you create that discipline, you really, not that you won't miss the money, but it'll be a lot easier than what some people do is they earn the money as a freelancer and they just spend it. And then it comes tax time and they owe money to the federal government or to the state and they don't have it. And what I want you to do is get ahead of that so you never have an issue. All right, so that's it for this edition. If you guys like this advice, this video, please give me a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe to the channel for more great information. Share it with people who you think will benefit. And of course, if you want to hear more, comment below. I want to hear from you, and I'm excited to share these tips. Again, Michael Fleischner with the Freelancer Profit System.